Hello everyone, it's Joel Davis with the Best $1 Million Business, where we want to evaluate prospective business opportunities based upon cost. What's the capital investment? How much does it cost to get into it? ROI, how quickly are we going to see a return on investment? Regulation, how much of that overbearing, burdensome government bureaucratic nonsense do I got to deal with and comply with? And then assets, employees, physical assets. What's it going to cost? How much do I have to manage? How many headaches do I have to deal with? These are all critical considerations we want to look at in evaluating any business opportunity. So today's topic of conversation is revolving the courier business. We get a lot of people, especially who come from the non-emergency medical transportation realm, who ask us about courier. Now, in moving forward, let me start by giving you some historical context so you could better understand my personal experience in the courier industry. And I could just, right off the bat, I got to tell you, things have definitely changed over all these many years. And I'll give you some examples of why, some key points why. Now, there's a lot of people who back in the day, they owned a traditional courier service and they would literally grow and scale, and they'd add another vehicle and add another vehicle and hire another person, hire another person. They'd grow and scale and they'd be zipping all over town doing B2B work, B2C work, things of that nature, same day delivery, driving interstate, all that kind of good stuff. And that's all great. But again, the industry has definitely experienced dramatic shifts and changes over these many years. Now, the way I personally, when I had my medical transportation business, the way I got into courier work is I ended up getting a very good and sizable contract with we have 3 local hospitals. 2 of them are our sister hospitals. They have a third one that's out of area, but we would do work out there as well, taking things out there. They're about 45 miles away. They had a lot of different satellite locations, all which is great. So what happened was when I entered the NEMT space, there were technically 4 competitors. One of them, we knocked them out pretty quick. A third one, it took us some time before we overran them. Another one, we were in the process of actually buying them. But long story short, my competitors were never able to get any type of a contract with the local hospitals. But the fat man did. So I was able to form some great relationships with support services from the hospital, convinced them of the win-win situation if we did have a contract. So what they did to look more impartial, even though this is straight Russian collusion style, the hospital, via support services, decided to put out 4 RFPs. One was for non-emergency medical transportation, the second one was for courier, and I don't even remember what the other 2 were because it had nothing to do with me and no utility, so I didn't care. So I bid on both of them. And I knew I was going to get the NEMT, even though I was not the lowest bidder. But I asked them, I said, why don't you give me the courier as well? And they said, at the time I was 2 years, going into my 3rd year, I think. We had about a dozen vehicles. And they just thought it was going to be too much. Okay, not a problem. I got what I want. I got the real prize. So our NEMT contract gave us all first rights to refusal for all discharges out of both hospitals, which we never refused anything. Got 100% of all the in-service stuff from hospital to hospital or to their services or satellite services and facilities and out to their other distant 3rd hospital. But what happened was probably close to a full year, not quite a full year, they approached us and said, look, the company we went with for the courier, which was Yellow Cab, they're not getting it done. Do you seriously and realistically think you could take over this courier contract? And I said, absolutely. Why not? We could do it. And it proved to be a great opportunity for us. Now, why was it a great opportunity for us? It was really just running stuff between their facilities. I mean, the same pattern, the same logistics we already had in place for what we were doing. But this was at a smaller scale in terms of the price points were smaller. We would transport everything from envelopes, small pieces of equipment, bundles of linen between locations, things of that nature. And it was a win-win situation. Now, did it, just make our coffers just overflow? No. but it was a nice, welcome stream of income. It was a great source of revenue for sure. Were we making tens of thousands a month like we're the NEMT contract? No, but we were able to leverage our existing platform. This is critical. We already had, at the time, 12, 15 vehicles at the time. So we already had dispatchers, we had office, we had the infrastructure, the policies, procedures, the vehicles. Any insurance we were going to have for NEMT completely trumped and was plenty for anything we would ever need for the Courier. Once in a blue moon, we'd run some stuff up to and from the airport that was being flown in. Very few times we did some organ transportation, but that was few and far between. I shouldn't say the only, but the vast majority of all of our courier work was through this hospital contract. We did have a contract with a insurance company that's a very big international insurance company that was in downtown. We used to 6 days a week, every single morning, we would literally go to the, literally about a quarter of a mile at most away from where they're located was the main hub for mail distribution. And our responsibility was to every morning go down there, pick up all their boxes of mail, load them in one of our vans, and take them to the dock at the insurance company. And we did this 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday, the only barring major holidays. So whenever the post office was open, that's what we did, and it was easy. I mean, you could go and pick up 4 bins on a Saturday and 12 bins on a Tuesday. I mean, didn't matter. It was all about that run. And it would only take us one driver and one van. It was just free, easy money. We did some miscellaneous courier work outside of that, but nothing to write home about, no big deal. So 90% of our stuff came from the hospital. We had that one contract, then we had some miscellaneous nonsense. So I am being completely honest and transparent with you. Did I have some grand courier business and we're doing all this courier work for real estate agencies and banks and legal law firms, offices? No, we didn't do that stuff. We didn't have to, because for me at that point in time, if I put all my energy into that, it would be like jumping over a quarter to get to a penny, because NEMT was the bread and the butter. That's the money maker. So what really made our courier work be successful is we already had the existing platform in place. Now, when you are in the NEMT or home care or any type of business where you're dealing directly with the client, the passenger, the patient, you got to be on time. So if you got a 1:30 appointment, you got to pick that person up no later than 1 o'clock to make sure they're on time. The beautiful thing about the courier work or small package delivery is typically there's a window of opportunity. So you could have a 4-hour window, you could have an 8-hour window. You got freedom and flexibility. So we were always able to maneuver our courier work for the hospital around our bread and butter, the transferring and the transportation of people. So we had great freedom and flexibility, and we're already leveraging a platform that's already in place. I didn't have to go out and purchase any new vehicles, hire new people, nothing. I didn't have to scale anything. It's already there. It's already scaled for us. Just leverage what we got. So what's changed in the industry? What's changed in the industry, I would argue, are twofold. Number one, technology. Technology has changed things, which has also led to rideshare. Because of the technological capabilities, it also produced the opportunity of rideshare. Rideshare has definitely changed the courier industry, because if you were to start a courier business today and you're like, all right, all I want to do is courier work, I'm going to tell you realistically, so for all of you who've been emailing us about courier, thank you all, that's great. But I would tell you this, in being completely transparent and honest, any legitimate courier business at this point in time would be a complementary or a supplementation to an existing business. Bottom line. Would I encourage you, like NEMT, can you go start an NEMT business, grow, scale, sell at a future multiple? Yes, you sure can. Courier, I would argue, is that if all you're going to do is courier, it's going to be that much harder today because of changes in technology and rideshare. Case in point. There's so many different opportunities online with apps where you can sign up and get involved in, engaged in the courier industry at next to no price point. You could use your own vehicle. There are websites right now that, let's say you're on the East Coast and you're going to drive out to the West Coast, you could go on there, log on, put in your trip, and if anything was compatible or overlapping, they would try to put you a range for you to pick something up along the way and take it to the West Coast, and you get paid a couple bucks. Now, are you a courier if you do that? Yeah, all right, you're a courier. Technically, you're a courier. Does that mean you have a business that you're going to be able to grow and scale at a multiple? Absolutely not. Rideshare has set that standard, or should I say has lowered the standard, has lowered that threshold. And the same thing holds true with a lot of the apps that are out there. There are so many apps out there now that you could just sign up for one of these apps, download it on your phone, and if there's a work order, they'll send it to you, and you can accept it or deny it. Now, many of those apps, and I'm not going to name any names because I'm not endorsing anybody or anything like that, those type of apps, those type of platforms, they're naming the price. They're going to give you the work order, you accept it, you decline it, here's the price point. Is that a business you're going to grow and scale? No. So in keeping things in perspective, are you a courier if you do that stuff? Yeah. So there's people out there on YouTube, and they got great YouTube channels. Some of them and they got the drones, and they got all this flashy stuff, and they make their stuff look cool. And God bless them, that's awesome. If you have the time to do that, and you have the availability and the skill and desire, God bless you. Do whatever you want. And they're going, I make $40 an hour as a courier. I make $35 as an hour as a courier. Okay, that's awesome. But do you have a business? I mean, do you have a business that you're going to grow and scale? I mean, can you get more people? You're not going to be able to hire someone, because if you hire Ralph's going to want to go off and just do his own. We're just using this app. Okay, well, why am I using you? I could do it on my own. It's just, bottom line is, technology coupled with rideshare has revolutionized the industry. And rather than allowing courier to continue, 10, 20 years ago for sure, legitimate courier businesses could grow and scale, operate interstate. Now it's much, much more difficult. A legitimate courier service of that size is involved in other work, or they're getting involved in freight to a large degree. Now, I've never done freight. I won't do freight. I've been solicited a million times because people ask us about with our broker business, and you are the broker. I don't go that route. I don't waste my time with that. The other thing too is that with technology and the apps, you can literally use your own vehicle to do last mile deliveries for everything from the Walmarts and the Amazons, things of that nature. And are you a courier? Yeah, you're a courier. I mean, you are picking things up, putting them in the trunk of your car, and taking them, dropping them off. Now, are you making a lot of money? No. I mean, yes, you might be able to squeeze out a little bit of cash, pay your bills, put a little something extra in your pocket. That's cool. But do you have a business? So what's the upfront cost? What's the regulation? What's the ROI? Well, it's not going to cost you a whole lot. The ROI is negligible. The regulation isn't there. You don't need employees. Why don't you need employees? Because you are an independent operator. Bottom line. Where am I going with all this? So when so many of you contact us about starting a courier work, starting a courier service, if you already own an NEMT business, it could be a natural progression depending on how you do it. If you have great relationships with hospitals, rehab facilities, skilled care nursing, HMOs, things of that nature, you could be in a position where you can go after some good contract work. Even if you, likewise, if you're a home care agency and you have a lot of key contacts out there and you're building relationships with the facilities, then it's always possible. It's always feasible. Now, I don't want to go off on too far of a tangent, but people will ask us if we're doing courier work with my broker business. We don't. Now, we've been asked to do some of that small package stuff over the years, but we don't. And I'm going to be honest with you, it's just the price point is so low. Consider some of these bigger cities. You legitimately have couriers who are doing deliveries on a bike. Now, is that a business you're going to grow and scale? No. Are you a courier? Yeah. Are you making money? I mean, you could make a little bit, I guess, but are you really making money that you're going to grow and scale? No, of course not. Not even feasible. The other thing to consider is that I know in some areas, again, we didn't do a whole lot, but we did do some organ some transportation work, and I specifically remember there were times that we would go up to the airport and pick things up, bring it down to the hospital. From what I understand, in some areas they've now changed that in order for you to do that, you have to have hazmat insurance to do different types of organ transportation. That's not everywhere, but that's somewhere. From what I've heard, I haven't witnessed it, but some of our client providers have told us about that, and then they stopped doing it. So they stopped doing that because there was a change in rules, regulations regarding insurance, so they weren't able to pursue that type of a work. So they cut it out because the ROI just isn't there. So those are things you always want to take into consideration. So can you make money with courier work? I'm going to tell you, you can if it is a complementary and supplementary source of revenue, bottom line. If it's a service that you are going to use to augment an existing business, i.e. like your NEMT, that's cool. Could you do it if you're operating your broker business like like I operate my broker business? Yes, you could. But then, honestly, it's for me. We don't do it because the ROI, the price point, is just so dramatically different. If I'm going to do small package delivery, how many small packages do we have to deliver versus, where one of our delivery work orders in my broker business, in 2020, it averaged like around $90, which is actually low for us. In previous years, we always hovered around like 97 to 105 in previous years. So we were always around $100. This past year, we happened to dip and we were down to 90. I really have no direct or concrete empirical evidence of why. Other than just that's the way things lined up that year in 2020 with the pandemic and all the nonsense associated with that. I mean, that was a variable, I'm sure. But other than that, I mean, let's say our delivery work orders are still averaging $100 per work order. Sometimes they're more, sometimes they're less, but they average around 100. That's a far cry from doing small package delivery. How many of those small packages do you have to deliver to get to that price point? And my contractors are making good money, they're making good tips, and we're making good ROI, things like that. So again, I'm not against courier work. All I'm saying is, in order for you to be successful as a courier, you want to be in a position where you're leveraging an existing platform. Now, if you're going to say, okay, look, here's the deal. I'm going to start a courier service, and I'm going to start by myself, and I'm going to be owner-operator. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I would tell you this, absolutely unconditionally. Start with the cargo van. Literally start with the cargo van. I don't have a cargo van. I drive a sedan. Look, if you're going to do something, do it right. At least look first class, okay? So you don't want to start with your own vehicle because no one's going to take you serious. At least as a minimum, start with the cargo van. You can get a good quality used cargo van on the cheap. You go get one with 60, 80, 100,000 miles on it. That's like brand new. Seriously, if you get a full-size cargo van, A, you can get one used on the cheap. B, you can make it look good. Letter it up right, make it look good. You're going to look like first class. C, insurance is not that much. It's not like an NEMT insurance or anything. And if you're not doing anything hazmat related, which I'm still not sure how they equate transporting organs equates to hazmat, because you're not transporting any hazardous waste, but again, there's a state that I was told does it, whatever. The other thing too is with the cargo van, it gives you options. Let's say, again, I'm telling you, if you're going to do courier work, you want it to be a supplementary source of revenue for an existing business, leverage your existing platform. Whether you want to start independently, start on your own, driving yourself, or you're going to leverage an existing business, you got to have, at least as a minimum, some type of an open bed vehicle. So if you're starting by yourself, I'm going to start with a new van, it's got to be a cargo van. If you have an NEMT business and you have full-size vans, you're set. You already got everything you need. You got plenty of room, plenty availability inside an ambulette. Gives you plenty of options. And you already have employees to leverage, so that's easy peasy. So you definitely want to have some type of a cargo van to give you options, because outside of doing small package delivery, if you're able to go after any type of a contract, like I told you, we had that contract with the insurance company where we're doing mail delivery. Now, maybe you're not doing mail delivery, but maybe you get some type of an arrangement where you're moving boxes. I mean, you got options with that. You can't do that out of your sedan. If you got a minivan, you can do some, but not nearly as much. Then the other thing too is that some of our contractors in our broker business, they're using cargo vans. Now, it can be harder because even a regular full-size cargo van, it's not like you can move like a queen size or a king size mattress. You can't, but at least you have options. You can do more than if you're just using a sedan or a minivan. So bottom line is if you're going to move forward with the courier business, start the conversation of, I need a cargo van or some type of an open vehicle. Bottom line, that's where it's got to start. The other thing too is a lot of these apps, here's the thing too, some of these apps, hey, great opportunities. If I want to be an independent guy operating more of like a Rideshare or something like that, but if you get involved in any of those, you want to be involved in apps that allow you to also have a web-based platform from your desktop. Because consider, let's say you sign up with half a dozen of these apps, you're going to be operating it all from your phone. You can never even think about growing and scaling if you rely on this app right here. And then you want to hire Jimmy. And if you hire Jimmy, he's got to download the app. But if he gets the app, he's going to get work orders to his login and not yours. You want to be able to centralize everything. So even like with our broker business where we use our proprietary software system, Fetch Mazzo, we're able to do so many different sources of revenue, but everything runs through Fetch Mazzo. If you're going to do the courier work, and you're going to leverage some of these different platforms or message boards that you can find online, you still need to have a way to process and collect all those work orders. Otherwise, it will be a logistical nightmare, an absolute logistical nightmare, if you are not able to take all these different sources and consolidate them into a legitimate, actionable, logistical structure, schedule. It'll be an absolute nightmare for you. So any of those apps that you get involved in, hopefully you're signing up with some that have some type of a desktop web-based platform portal that you could log into, get the info from the app and or from online so you can further extract it and put it into your own system. You got to have your own system to consolidate everything. Another opportunity or platform that a lot of people will leverage when it comes to this courier work, kind of like I said, that let's say you're on the East Coast, you're going to travel to the West Coast, and you go on there and tell them what your trip itinerary is, and they'll say, okay, can you pick something up in Missouri and take it to Arizona? Oh yeah, I could do that. Okay, sure. And then you make some bucks, whatever. Again, that's not a business. The other thing to consider is similar to that, you can go on, there's a lot of different message boards out there where you can actually go on, unlike the apps where the apps will just give you the work orders and tell you what they're paying, you accept it or decline it. Some of these message boards you can go on and actually bid on a work order. So they could see what needs to be moved, where it is, where it needs to be dropped off, and you could bid on it. There's a way some people do that and they're able to make a little bit of money. Understand, am I against it? No, I think it's great. It's a great opportunity. Okay, it's great. If some of them you're gonna be able to get, because if no one's bidding on it, no one can do the work, you do it, then you can kind of name your price. I'm cool with all that, but just understand, and keeping things in perspective, if it's something you're bidding on and you actually got to bid against someone else, 100% they're going to take the lowest bidder. So if you got to be the lowest bidder, understand you're taking meat off that bone. The lower you bid, the less your margin, which means at what point in time do we violate one of our main considerations? Return on investment. What's our ROI? If we're constantly working to underbid, and some of those message boards, you could post a bid, look, someone's already underbid it, and then it becomes a bidding war. How low do you go? How low do you go, and what's your point where you reach, I'm not even going to make money? Or I can make a little bit of money, but at what cost? Do I got to do it myself, or can I pay John Doe to go do it? These are all serious considerations. Well, listen, I apologize for being a little bit long-winded, but I actually don't, because I enjoy talking about this stuff. It's all good stuff, but my main takeaway is the courier business dead? No, it's never going to die. People are always going to have things shipped and same day, and this attorney needs to make sure that this is delivered within 24 hours or same day delivery, and you got to do it. All I'm saying is you got to take into consideration what is the ROI on something like that. Can you go out and build a courier business like you could 10 years ago, 20 years ago for sure? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Rideshare has changed that. Technology's changed that. The vast majority of courier work now is all independent contractors, just like the rideshare. It is what it is. But if you have an existing platform or assets that you can leverage, relationships that you may already have with an NEMT business, a broker business, a home care business, many others. If you have existing relationships, assets, or a platform that you could leverage and you're able to offer courier services as a complementary or supplementary service, then it could be a great source of revenue. Bottom line. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. Definitely follow my advice, because honestly, I've already made so many mistakes throughout my years of being in business, and the easiest way to make money is to learn from somebody else. I'm telling you, somebody who's already made all the mistakes, school of hard knocks, and got them out of the way. That's why they always say a smart man learns from his own mistakes. I always say a truly wise man learns from the mistakes of others, because it's a whole lot easier and a whole lot cheaper. So when you do that, I'll see you at the top.